Welcome to the Podcasters Assemble Rumbus. I don't know if that worked. Basically, we're doing it again. We had so much fun the first time. So we are going to talk out Season 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then we'll get Rumbus. I'm still going to keep working that word as best I can. Okay, we've got 3 different teams here. First off, from the Helicarrier podcast, we have...
Oh, wait, you want me to say my own name? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Well, we got me. I'm Andrew Byte, one of the hosts, and I'm honored to have on one of the hosts of Helicarrier now, because last time I was there alone. Yes, I was singing I'm So Lonely all the time during the whole episode. But Nicki Amy, the first lady of this roundtable.
Hey, Nicki!
Hello.
And then we also have Welcome to Level 7 again, which, guys, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hey, I'm Ben Avery.
What's up?
I thought this was a professional roundtable. What happened there?
And that's Daniel. We're all about the awkward.
It's so much more casual when you're Nuff said, isn't it?
It is. I mean, you guys have got the carpet that's like extra shag, and you really should vacuum a little bit more.
Hey, you know what? We don't claim to be classy around here.
You have the shag carpet that you need to rake before you vacuum, like they had in the 70s.
Oh, those are
that
awesome.
Would be awesome.
You want to hear something really frightening?
I found some jelly beans in it.
Those are
really
mine.
good.
Those are mine!
Oh, sorry.
My in-laws bought a house quite a while ago, and they moved into this house, and it looked like it hadn't been redone since the 70s, and in the kitchen was that orange big shag carpeting.
Oh my god.
Bright orange in a kitchen. And to me, that's just insane. Imagine what's embedded in that.
Please tell me there was avocado cabinets or an avocado refrigerator.
You know, I never saw.
Oh.
But, I mean, come on. There had to be.
That would be my childhood home if it was.
You know, for my childhood home, my dad did the thing in the 70s where he put the big stripe. It was like a brown and yellow rainbow across the whole like dining room, living room. Oh yeah, it's embarrassing.
Oh, lovely.
So, well, I think we should start talking about this. And I'm Rob Southgate. I'm from Nuff Said. At some point, Jack will be joining us. We thought Jack, on the last podcast, we announced that was Jack's last until the fall because he's going to be on a cruise, but he didn't go yet. So we'll have Jack with us tonight. This is a big surprise, so that'll be fun. Let's start talking here. I actually want to start with the final episode. What did you guys think of that final episode? Why don't we start with you Helicarriers?
Well, ladies first, Nicki. So I'm going to start first. No, I'm kidding. Go.
It's a constant battle. Which lady's going first? I thought the final episode was it was the perfect end to especially the last half of the first season. I mean, that's when the show really kicked it up a notch. And I thought it was exactly what you want from a season finale. It was a cliffhanger. You had new information. We had new information. We had revelations, but it still left us with the right amount of questions. So we weren't like struggling to understand it, but we're still like, I want to watch the next one now. You know, it was like, why? Damn you, Summer.
Damn you, Summer.
I just thought it was it was plotted out well. It was written brilliantly. I thought the acting was amazing. Even, John Garrett, just chewing the scenery, which I love. And
that was awesome.
I called him a douche hat on Twitter, and Clark responded to me.
Douche.
I was like, God, he's turned from douche hat to creepy. It's like, he's like a used car salesman on acid.
What did Clark write back to you?
He said, "Oh, not a douche hat."
But something with douche.
What about you, Andy? What did you think?
I hated it. No, I'm kidding. No, but I seriously, my nerd reactions that night, like, I was in tears, I was in laugh, I was like it was one of the greatest TV nights of my life. Like, straight up, me trying to be hip, it doesn't go that well. But no, I really enjoyed, everything that came together in that final episode. It's been for us as podcasts, we've been enjoying most of the season. But I know it's been a very struggling season for Shield's first year. But now seeing them finally getting to, coming full circle. Remember when we talked about in the first roundtable, we were like, some of these first episodes were like what they had nothing to do with the plot, and now we see that everything, like they said, is connected. So, no, but it was a great combination. Seeing Nick Fury back, like that was like almost one of the biggest highlights of the whole thing. Just seeing him just reaching out his hand to poor Simmons, who was trapped in the water with Feds, and seriously, like, why wasn't Nick Fury trending worldwide that night?
Yeah. That was awesome when he put his hand out. That actually, we were cheering here at our house because I was watching it with my daughter, and she hasn't seen like the Avengers or any of that yet, but she's very aware of it, obviously, in this house. And she
how is it possible you have not shown her the Avengers?
You know what?
Well,
She
Andy,
just hasn't
it's
seen
bad
it yet.
parenting. It's bad parenting, Andy. That's
Yeah,
all it
we're
is.
trying to get through the Tarantino movies first.
Well,
But
that is important.
she as soon as she saw Nick Fury, she knew exactly what it was. She goes, "Dad, Nick Fury." I'm like, "Yeah, all right."
That's good. That's good parenting.
Yeah, we're going to actually spend the summer on our show. We're going to go through the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we're going to start with Iron Man and work our way through and just kind of talk about them. And I told my daughter that's where we're going to do it. We're going to watch one a week, and she's going to get familiar with it that way, and she's ready for it.
That's awesome.
You're good dad. I wish my dad would have done that when I was her age.
No, I'm not adopting you.
Fine, don't. No, but
He's holding out for John Barrowman anyway, Rob.
Not to adopt me. But
I might adopt Nicki though. She makes cupcakes.
No, cookies.
Cookies. Maybe I won't adopt her then.
But I really, but Nick Fury was really one of my favorite points of that episode because, I was seriously worried that, oh my god, it's just gonna be one scene, they're gonna mess it up. No, but they had him for like, what was it, like almost 10 minutes?
Oh, it was awesome. Yeah.
That's like that's
had
like
a
Samuel
surprisingly
Jackson.
large role, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, it was
that's like
huge.
Sam Jackson's longest TV appearance, isn't it?
That's
to my
not-
knowledge.
That wasn't like the Tonight Show, yeah. Or telling some news reporter that he's not Lawrence Fishburne.
oh my god.
That got a lot of play in this house. That was awesome. So, Dan, Ben, who wants to tell us your thoughts on that final episode?
I'll
Who
start.
wants to go first?
I'll go first. I really, really, really enjoyed it. There was a point where I was just kind of feeling like, okay, I understand everything's connected, but they're doing so many callbacks to so many things. Like, okay, there's the 084 from episode 2. Okay, there's the gun from the Avengers. Okay, there's the this from that. And it felt tight. It was skirting where it was just kind of like, okay, this is a little much. We can just trust you that it's all connected. You don't have to show us every single thing. But even that's just a minor thing. It was an excellent episode, and I feel it was a nice cap. And honestly, if they had just cut out the post credits thing with Coulson, that would have been the place where, if it had to end, that's the place where it could have we could have had one season, stop right there, and it would have felt right.
Yeah,
All
like
except
it
for
was
Skye.
a complete story of this team.
it could have been a nice, here's the bow. You'll wonder about Skye. I'm sorry about that. But the good thing is we don't have to worry about that. I mean, they are giving us a season 2. They're giving us Agent Carter.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited to see where things go.
Yeah.
Totally.
All right, we got one more. What's your thought? Jack's going to miss out on this one, by the way.
Well, he's just going to talk about Catwoman anyway.
You know it. Well, I'm sure, we just saw X-Men, and that had Halle Berry in it, so maybe he'll talk Storm this time.
Oh, not Catwoman.
Yeah,
Not
he has,
that Catwoman.
he has a
Not
little
that-
thing for that Catwoman.
Wait, hold on. Time out. He seriously liked that movie?
I think he liked the
Woman.
movie.
No
if
one
the
said
sound
anything
was
about
off.
liking the movie.
Right.
He liked
I-
Halle Berry in the cat suit.
I think actually that was his quote in our first episode was, "I liked her costume," and that was enough. Like, I don't remember there was a movie associated with it. I just remember the costume.
I
I
didn't even
was
like
at
the
Comic
costume.
Con for that panel, so I remember.
Oh, you poor thing.
I know.
Like,
But
so
I am
that's
meeting
something.
I am meeting Julie Newmar this weekend. So
Ooh, that's nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that was I forgot who talked. Was that Ben or Dan?
That was
Well,
me,
that was
Ben.
Ben,
Ben.
and this is
Okay.
Daniel.
Dan. Yeah, Daniel.
So-
I want to hear your thoughts.
So my thought is all season long we heard about what I'll call casual fans whose fandom has been mostly about the movies and hadn't really given the show much of a chance. And we heard, they were expecting a certain thing, and I think in the finale they got that certain thing because they got Nick Fury and Coulson combined together in action. You got all those things that Ben mentioned. You got a discovery that someone on the team is an Avenger.
Yeah. That was good.
And I'm worried that what'll happen is next season we'll have some folks come in because of this finale, and then they'll probably tail off again until we get that Guardians of the Galaxy tie-in. But I thought it was fantastic.
It's funny because we kind of have an outline of things we want to hit, but I think we're going to already break form here. You just brought up Guardians of the Galaxy. Now that's going to come out in the fall. I don't know about the timing. Is it going to come out? Is S.H.I.E.L.D. going to premiere before Guardians hits?
No, it's because
It's right after, right?
Yeah, because it's gonna start in September, I think, and the movie comes in August. So
Okay,
in
so
fact, the DVDs or Blu-rays of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they're not even coming out until September 9th.
right.
And
Really?
that's in time to get you excited for season 2. I'm a little angry. You can ask Daniel when we were texting back and forth.
You're not going to let the big
about the
guy out,
news.
are you?
No, I'm not that angry. It's more of the annoyed guy. He turns orange and just sits and sulks in the corner.
You're
Someone
much less
doesn't
than
like
much less than Incredible Hulk, right?
Yeah. But I gave Daniel a couple earfuls about why I think that's just a terrible, stupid idea to wait until then. But
And
So-
then Captain America's coming out in August. Winter
Yeah.
Soldier.
Oh,
and
you
it
mean on
seems like
DVD
Captain
on Blu-ray,
America DVD is going to be really more tying in as far as just timing with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and there's no one shot on this Captain America.
I
Which is total BS to me. Like, I don't get what's like. This is your most successful Marvel movie. We can we may have different opinions about, but Winter Soldier is one of the best movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So why are you not putting a one shot on?
Well, and think about it. They have the 4 series that they're going to have on Netflix. Wouldn't this be a perfect opportunity to do something short to introduce that?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Well, I think they haven't casted any of the other heroes yet. They just cast, or they just announced Daredevil.
Yeah, but they got time. They could do something.
Yeah,
They could do a
actually, they
quick
already
one.
did. The prison, was it Seagate prison?
Seagate.
Mm-hmm.
From Hail the King is that's the prison that Luke Cage in the comics was imprisoned and experimented on.
So right there, they could have continued with that. They've got the set and everything going.
Right.
I would have liked to see more Justin Hammer, just personally.
I don't understand you, Nicki, why you like that character so much.
It's because Sam Rockwell is a god.
Wow.
He's slightly under George Lucas.
Wow.
I think
I
we're
think-
all stunned in
I think
silence.
I know. I don't even know where to
there.
go from that.
I
Other
think
than
the character is...
Good night,
he's-
everybody.
The character is multi-dimensional. He's kind of got this evil side. He's also smarmy and cheesy, and he wears those god-awful suits.
Oh, you're talking about George Lucas. I got
No,
it.
no, stop. Don't. Don't.
He gets very
now,
sensitive about the Star Wars.
Daniel,
so-
weren't you a huge fan of Hail the King?
No.
We-
Ben keeps trying to tell me to calm down.
I know. Well, that's why I had to do it. We skated around that one last time, but it hasn't softened over time, huh?
No. No.
No. I think
Because, again, they had MCU'd the Mandarin. And the Mandarin was convoluted enough that it worked with what they had done, but I get
They just
worried.
undid it.
Yeah, they undid it. And I'm a Heroes fan, and I watched them do things like that, where they listened to fan comments and they would undo things. And so that's
Dan,
my biggest fear.
Yeah,
Daniel,
right.
speaking of that, I just started watching Heroes this week. I'm on episode 20 of season 1. Just saying, Adrian Passer is amazing in it.
Well, he didn't have the mustache back then.
right.
Thank God.
Am
Here's
I
the thing
only
about the-
one who?
Oh, go
Hang
ahead.
on, you got it.
I was going to say, the thing about the one-shots that actually kind of surprises me is that does cost a pretty penny to make a short film like that. And so, like with Item 47 and Hail the King and Agent Carter, that's not a cheap thing to do. These are mini movies, and there's not a lot of return in a short film. As an extra on a DVD or on a Blu-ray rather, there's not a lot of return on that. And so I was surprised that they did as many as they did and got as big as they did. Even though, we're talking 10 minutes, one action scene, and it's not that spectacular. It's television style action in a lot of ways. But I'm not surprised to see that they're not doing one. It's just that now they've caused us to expect it.
Right.
They've trained us.
Right. Well, Agent Carter was a perfect example of using it to go to series, though.
Right,
so, I mean,
right.
if you're using it for to launch other things or to promote other things, it's definitely worth it.
It's like Amazing Spider-Man 2. We've been trained to sit through the credits to see something about the next movie. And
I can't wait for the X-Men to be in that movie.
And Spider-Man was not in Vietnam then. When spoiler, but in Days of Future Past, Spider-Man never shows up. Never did.
I was waiting for him.
Yeah.
What a
I mean, forget the
disappointment.
fact that it takes place 30 years before him, before the Amazing Spider-Man movies, so he wasn't even born yet. But still,
Screw logics.
yeah, exactly.
So before we go on, my partner Jack has shown up.
Hey, everybody, how's it going?
Ugh.
What was that reaction?
Andy?
Yuck.
Thanks a lot, guys.
We're waiting for you.
Hey, Jack. So Jack, you're not going to get to answer the first couple of questions, but we were just talking about Guardians of the Galaxy. The question I have is, they're trying to tie these in. Are we going to see some type of tie-in
I think we
to
already have.
Guardians of the Galaxy, other than what Coulson was doing? Is that going to... I really think what he was doing is tied into Guardians, but is there going to be something after that fact?
Wow, I don't think there's much evidence for it. I mean, it would be very cool, but it would, you'd have to point to some kind of hint. And lately, they've laid out all the hints for us. So, if you're asking me, I would say I don't think so, but it would be cool if they did.
Here's what's going to happen.
I agree.
Here's what's going to happen. In
Wait,
Guardians of
this
the
is
Galaxy,
definitive. Here it is.
Yep, this is definitive. In Guardians of the Galaxy, we're going to have a flashback to when Peter Quill went into space as very, very young age.
Right.
And we're going to see S.H.I.E.L.D. investigating that in the past.
That makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that's our tie-in there for the big screen. And then in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right around the time for the DVD come out, just like they tried to do with they were a week off, but they tried to do with Thor: The Dark World. When the DVD for Guardians of the Galaxy comes out, we're going to have some alien stuff happening on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And we're going to see some of those characters or creatures show up for a nice cameo, like they did with Lady Sif.
Okay,
That'd be very
so
cool.
you think aliens are going to show up? I don't know if they're going to actually.
Aliens already
show us
have shown up,
aliens.
as far as I'm concerned.
Well, but I don't know if they're going to show us aliens that don't look like Sif. I don't know if we're going to see, like when we saw the Kree, we don't know if we're going to see anything more than something floating in some goo.
I think we'll have characters. I think there will be living, breathing aliens.
I'd like to see it. I mean, I watch Falling Skies; they do it on there.
And it'll probably be makeup aliens, though. It'll probably be prosthetic forehead type things. TV budget we're talking here.
Yeah.
But
And Sif is a good example because she gave us foreshadowing. She gave us a whole list of blue aliens that can show up now because they've already introduced them.
Yes, she did. That's true.
And there's no payoff to having a bunch of kind of dead stiffs where we're milking the juice out of them. We've already done that once.
And Chloe Bennett pretty much.
Jack, are we talking about the same show?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying you were saying you think.
I know. I'm just teasing you, Jack.
But yeah, I think it's a thing where you don't want to see that a bunch of times. We want some Kree. We want some action.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think we'll see traces of them throughout, like writing on the wall, maybe some alien tech, possibly even go the X-Files route and there's a entire spaceship over in Antarctica or something like that. But there'll be traces of it throughout. But I think that's going to be building up to coincide with the Blu-ray DVD release of Guardians of the Galaxy. Just because Guardians of the Galaxy takes place in space and is coming out a month and a half before Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is even going to be showing up. So
Yeah, I just feel like because Guardians takes place in literally another universe, pretty much, that it would be really hard to tie it in without some major kind of foreshadowing. Like, I think the Peter Quill idea is like of showing him going into space and S.H.I.E.L.D. being there, investigating that. I think that's brilliant. I never even thought of that. And I think that would be something that could tie it in. I just think that the worlds are so separate, and yes, we are familiar with Asgard and the Nine Realms, but what we know, what S.H.I.E.L.D. knows, is not what else is out there yet. Or at least that they've shown us, because who knows what S.H.I.E.L.D. knows.
You're right.
I agree. They'd almost have to come up with a wormhole or something like they did, the rip a hole in space and say, oh, we got to their universe to really reach out and do that.
No, they don't. They can come to us.
Yeah,
We already know
be
that the Asgardians know the Collector. The Collector's got a ship. He can come to us. We have interesting things for him to collect.
Very
That-
true.
The Collector would be a
the
great
only
character to
way.
bring in.
I've got
I
a whole
agree.
shelf full of cool stuff he could collect.
There you go.
I would love
But
to see the collect. I think that would be the perfect way to
And-
tie it in, because he would be the one who would have the most to gain.
Assuming he
And he-
survives the movie.
If he does, we also know he wants Infinity Gems.
Yes.
By the way, I do believe that one Infinity Gem is on Earth.
All right. What are you thinking
sorry.
there?
I'm sorry. I was that a totally random thought or what?
No,
Well,
it's not totally random. It's if the staff that Hydra has is an Infinity Gem, or is it the full Tesseract?
Yeah, they've got something with the spear.
Yeah. See, I thought it was the Tesseract. I thought we were going to find that, but the staff is an interesting thing. What's going on with that staff? Is it just a Berserker staff, or is there a gem inside? And that's a theory I've read other places too.
Right.
No, Hydra has Loki's staff.
Right.
Loki's stabby staff that he
Right.
stabbed with Coulson with.
Fingers in my ears. Fingers in my ears.
Yeah, we call it the Loki Pokey stick.
Pokey, pokey, Loki.
So, I mean, it's possible that could be a gem or a key to finding a fuller gem if it's considered part of the Tesseract.
Yeah. So I guess that we're all settled. There's one of them here. We just don't know exactly
Right.
what it's going to be.
I just hope whenever we see it, it should, that it's going to be an arc of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like maybe, let's say Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. goes on long enough to be able to tie into Avengers 3. Maybe like the season finale could be like, oh no, look, if that stone is glowing and flying away, and then like the last thing you see is a glowing glove or something.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
Here, let me throw a crazy question out there that I've never considered until tonight. Was not the ether stored on Earth?
It
You know
was.
what? That's something I think we discussed on one of the podcasts. It was.
So what if all the gems are stored on Earth?
Oh, like they're just.
Which would be-
This is a
Because
hiding
the Tesseract
place.
was originally on Earth.
Exactly. If all the gems are here, that would give us a reason to get the Collector here, to give us a reason to get Galactic here, to give us a reason to get Thanos here.
Oh,
And as we
that's
know-
a good idea.
In Marvel 616, Earth is the center of it all.
Exactly.
It is.
So we're ground
And,
zero.
very conveniently the center of everything, yeah.
That
So
would
wait, so you mean that Adam the Warlock is on Earth? Because wasn't he collecting him in a cocoon or something like that in his thingy that we saw at the end of the Dark World?
Was that the Collector though?
Well, no, we saw
But-
the Collector at the end.
No,
Yeah.
but who had the cocoon? Where was that? I remember
At the Collector's.
Yeah,
the
the Collector
Collector's
had it.
ship is not on Earth. I mean, he's out there collecting stuff.
we don't
Right,
know.
I get what
And
you're
then
saying. Andy.
they brought him the ether at the end, but the ether was on Earth before, right?
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
Because that's where Jane got it.
right.
Well, no, I thought that the ether was in the Dark World. I thought that Jane got it when she went to the Dark World
There was some sort of it was
through the hole.
some sort of portal,
Well, yeah,
but
okay, so
essentially
maybe,
it seemed like it was on Earth.
or actually, you actually might have hit on it. It might not be that it's on Earth, but the portals to get to these things are through Earth. So
And then
Earth being
that would
the
make it some sort
central
of
hub.
nexus of realities, maybe
Right.
guarded by
Oh,
a certain
geez.
swamp
Which-
monster.
Wow.
I'm just
My
a hot
brain.
mess now. Before you know it, he's going to talk about the man thing.
Oh,
I'm
I'm
I
gonna have to get
can't
down
wait.
my omnibus
I-
now.
Are we going to get some Man Thing action? I love when it was mentioned on there. That
Yeah.
was the best.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll actually be the best when Man Thing shows up.
You know what? I'm okay with him not showing up. They mentioned him, which means he exists in the universe, off doing something, who knows what. But this is the kind of thing people were asking for more of. And then they
Yeah.
finally gave it to us toward the end, where it's like, here, we're gonna who or what is a Man Thing.
Yeah, see,
You know?
here's the thing. I'm not okay with it not showing up. I want to see Man Thing, but it doesn't have to be something where you see fully what's going on. You know what I mean? It's almost better to keep him in the shadows, but get a glimpse of him. I think that would be really the way to go, where you know, like, oh, yeah, that was Man Thing, and now we've seen physical evidence of this going on.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm just glad to see glimpses that there are other things going on in other corners that aren't on screen. It's not just, we're going to reference Iron Man. We're going to mention Stark. It's Man Thing. You know, it's something that we are never going to see in the MCU unless we see it on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I could see them investigating Man Thing. He's not going to be on the big screen. I mean, that's why they're able to mention him on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We have a movie proving that it's never going to happen again.
I don't know. Lindsay Lohan's career might be just bad enough.
Oh my god.
I think she could play the Man Thing well, but I'm just saying that we're probably not going to see him on the big screen.
Yeah.
And probably not played by her.
Well,
But
probably
that-
not played by
Never
anybody.
say
honestly.
never.
Hey, Andy, she's got to eat. Come on.
I can have my
What-
dreams. Don't take it
Well,
away.
well, all you need to do is get a DUI like 5 minutes in or whatever, then, get a bunch of paparazzis and, somehow make money for it.
That's true.
seems to
I
work.
could see, I mean, Andy Serkis would be playing Man Thing,
Oh,
maybe.
God, that
if
would be
anyone's going to
brilliant.
play Man Thing.
Oh,
He's going to be a created, CGI creature, but
Ben, get the omnibus out. Let's
I
talk.
need a minute. Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, and he's in the new Star Wars.
I know. I'm so excited.
And he's in Godzilla.
Yes.
no, he wasn't actually in Godzilla.
Yeah.
They consulted with him.
Thanks
They
for bringing my
talked to him
heart.
about it, but yeah, he didn't play Godzilla, which I thought would be incredible if they didn't use any motion capture for people on Godzilla, though.
Oh, really? I thought
He was King
that what's his name? Andrew Taylor or whatever his name is, the lead guy. I thought he was motion capture because he was very lifeless.
Okay, so do we or do we not think that Guardians of the Galaxy will tie in with S.H.I.E.L.D. in the beginning of the season?
I think it will. I think there'll be some type of something, some kind of resolution.
It
to
all
the movie.
depends. It all depends on what happens in the movie.
I don't
it all
think it'll be
depends
ignored.
on how they end Guardians of the Galaxy, or if they do, when they do the tag at the end. But
Well, okay, here's a
think it's-
thought.
if it's going to happen, it's going to happen the first third of the season.
Yeah, here's a thought. The big rumor is that Iron Man's going to be in this movie. I don't know if you guys have heard that, but
I have
that's-
not heard that, no.
I've heard it so many times, but
Well,
I'm like, why
it would
would
make
it be in it?
sense that he'd be in it, and that might be where the tie-in happens. Whatever he comes back with, Coulson then has. Now we see some kind of, Stark brought this back, or some type of, resolution through Stark might be the answer.
I think part of the tie-in is just now we have a big universe,
Yeah.
and we're going to see things. It's like in Star Trek. You have them; they're out exploring out, the vast reaches of space. But then they'll come across something that, oh, you know what? This is a Klingon problem, or this is a Ferengi thing, and this is just the same thing here, where we're going to see aliens in Guardians of the Galaxy that can now show up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It may not even be the same character that you saw in Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's the same creature. It's the same creature design, the same race.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
I really
it's
think
opening
that,
up the possibilities.
yeah, they're expanding this universe very widely, and the best place to explore how they expand the universe is in the larger format of a season of television.
All right, I'm going to shift gears here.
Can I
Future
say
of
one
Hydra.
last thing?
Yeah, okay.
Agent Carter, I think we're going to see how the blue alien came to Earth.
Oh, I
Agent
think so
Carter.
too.
Oh, yeah.
I think
That would be perfect.
I think it's going to be tied
Tying
in.
right in.
Everyone thinks it has to do with Avengers, but that is absolutely not the case. So I think
Avengers
we're
have-
going to see it go back further. I think that's true.
Speaking of Agent Carter, just one brief thing. How great is it that we're going to have Marvel stuff now? Pretty much every week. First we're going to have 10 episodes of S.H.I.E.L.D. Then, Agent Carter will start in January for 8 episodes. And then we'll be back with S.H.I.E.L.D.
And then right after that, the Netflix series hit.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean,
We
this
got
is
we
awesome.
got a lot of stuff coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these are going to be some bloated podcasts.
And
But
bloated
even-
podcasters.
Too late.
Thinking
That's
bigger
the name.
term than that, though, during the actual season, we're going to have superhero shows on almost every night.
Yeah.
Between Gotham, Flash, Arrow, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Constantine.
Yeah. Oh, Constantine.
I
That
think
one
almost
looks
every
good, too.
weeknight has a superhero show on it, at one network or another.
Thank you
I just
so
have-
much for...
I I just hope we don't overload on superheroes, because I think we've shown, like, when we overloaded television on, like, the X-Files type, and I'm like the biggest X-File that ever lived, but we overloaded it and people stopped watching them because they just started becoming like carbon copies and the quality would deteriorate.
Well, I tell you what, I think that's what Marvel's doing right. They're like, S.H.I.E.L.D. is a specific type of show, and it's not showing us superheroes. With Carter is a show taking place in the 40s. It's a very different kind of show. Yeah, Daredevil's going to have the suit on, and he's going to be fighting crime, but that is, at the heart, it's going to be like a crime show. It's very, like, everything they do has a very distinct flavor, and I think that's how you keep it fresh.
Yeah, and I'm worried more about, like, the DC-based shows.
Aren't we all worrying more about the DC-based stuff?
I'm not so much. Gotham is intriguing me, and I'm starting Arrow, and because he's my favorite male DC character is Green Arrow. But my fear is that they'll do so much, people will start getting sick of superheroes, and the repercussions will ricochet off of Marvel. That's just as a total TV nerd. That's something I've seen happen before, and I just don't want to see it affect Agents.
Well, look at what they've done with the reality shows. We've been inundated with them, and they keep adding them.
Yeah, and really, the bubble burst a while ago with those, like, when they had so many all of a sudden. But now look at it. How many years later, it's all commonplace. Survivor's still there. There's all these other types of reality shows, dating shows. They're all there. It's just now it's not as in your face the same way. Right. I think that's what we're getting from this. It's not going to, as long as they keep doing these fresh ideas, I think we're going to have a nice long life to this. 10-year-old Rob is very happy.
10-year-old is very happy as well.
10-year-old Andy is pretty happy too, especially about Flash coming.
It's
40-year-old Ben is happy, man.
It's just something I worry about. My OCD is like too many.
So going back to your S.H.I.E.L.D., what was the next discussion topic, Rob?
I actually just wanted to find out, what do you think the future of Hydra is? Because obviously, I mean, come on, Hydra, you cut one head off, another one grows. But at the end of the season, they made it seem like, okay, Hydra's been pushed back. Are we going to see them as the big baddie next season? Is somebody else going to rise? What do you think?
I don't know if they've been pushed back so much as Garrett was pushed and blown away apart into millions.
Yeah, but it seemed like it seemed like their power stopped when Garrett was exploded real good.
Well, we also don't know what was going on with other aspects of S.H.I.E.L.D. With other aspects of Hydra. I mean, they're all over the world. They've infiltrated S.H.I.E.D. Who knows what they're doing? We just saw with one small part of it. We don't know how high Garrett was up in Pierce's, seniority. We don't know what his position was. He seemed more out for himself than he did actually as for Hydra.
Sure.
And that's the same thing with Ward. He was just kind of in it because of Garrett. He didn't really buy into the whole Hydra thing, which is the one thing I kind of see redeemable about him. But we don't know what's been going on in the other parts of the world. I mean, we've just been focused on our agents in this fight with Garrett. Now we have to deal with the rest of these Hydra agents who are masquerading as S.H.I.E.L.D., who are masquerading as allies. And so I don't think Hydra's going anywhere. I think it probably will be the background big bad, kind of like the X-Files had,
Sure.
Man.
So you think their presence will be there, but it's not going to be a focus. They're not the big bad of next season.
They still have to rebuild S.H.I.E.L.D. And when you rebuild S.H.I.E.L.D., you're going to have to fight against the old S.H.I.E.L.D., which is now Hydra.
Right.
So they're going to be constantly at war with them in some way, if it's like, at actual war, or if it's just a war of information, a technology war, just trying to, in the war, to see who's got what agents, which agents are going to come to S.H.I.E.L.D., which are going to go to Hydra, which are going to disappear. So I just think for me, it's too soon to determine Hydra's fate. I don't think we have seen anywhere near the last of them. I think we've only seen a small part of them in the show. I'm not talking about Winter Soldier.
Well, and that's the thing, is we've had two experiences now with two different Hydra factions. We've been told straight out that there's other Hydra groups. And just like you say, Garrett was out for himself. He made it very, very clear. I mean, is Flowers Hydra? If she's not Hydra, is she going to be pragmatic like Garrett was and jump on and say, I'm going to use your resources in order to advance my own agenda?
Did you just say she's going to be pregnant? What did you say?
No, is Flowers going to become Hydra? Is she going to join up? Is she going to use their labs?
I love that question. She seems to me like, from what we've seen of her, she's all about expanding knowledge and expanding how people see the world and what possibilities there are, which is why she wanted to know what happened to Coulson so badly. It's why she worked with Garrett, why she believed in the clairvoyant. I think she has a desire to study the 084s or superhumans. I don't think she's going to be Hydra. She's not going to be S.H.I.E.L.D. I think she's going to be one of those people who can play both sides. But she's not going to be trusted by the team.
No, certainly not.
Right.
But I think she's out like a lot like Garrett. She's out for what she can learn.
Right. And I don't think that she joined up Hydra to do that in a good way. I think she's out for herself, and I don't think she's the kind that's going to align with S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay. And, as we saw in the show, as soon as they kind of de-emphasized Hydra, we really caught a glimpse into these little separate labs and these little separate little science centers that were still activated. And okay, now what do we do? And the guy said, we go on as planned. We keep doing what we do. And I think she's more likely to plug back into that than anything from S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, I agree.
I think she's an Inhuman. This is the thing that I've just keeps coming up.
I totally agree with you. I totally 100% agree with you.
I think that Skye and Reyna are Inhumans, and that is going to be a big part of season 2, is finding out who and what Skye is.
Jack and I have talked about the Inhumans a lot. Now, we've got a new phrase that they're going to start throwing around, which is Marvel Miracles, or Miracles.
I don't think that's going to get used, though. I don't think they're going to use that as, like, in place of Inhumans. Nah. I think that Inhumans will be Inhumans, and superpowered guys are just going to be...
No, I think they're going to go with Miracles. I really do.
I don't want to call it Miracles.
I think that's going to be like a code word they use.
It's
I think it's awkward
gonna...
because I think they're going to use that as a separate tack because you don't have any risk of crossover. They're creating their own. Right. They're creating their own little niche in the universe. I think it'll be separate, but they are going to use it.
But we totally, Jack and I have talked about this, we totally believe the Inhumans are going to be part of this, and it makes perfect sense that Flowers is an Inhuman.
Mm-hmm.
But she's already outed herself and Skye as coming from a similar source.
So what was up with Skye's dad?
Yeah, I think he's an Inhuman.
Drippy scabby guy?
He's the
Drippy scabby Inhuman.
He's the real Mandarin. I'm kidding.
No.
I was sick
Why,
with
Andy?
that.
Why would you do this, Andy?
Maybe it's an allergic reaction to Earth.
Oh, maybe he's the man thing.
Hey, didn't we talk about that?
I think so. Yeah, I actually
Maybe
the one that I
murdered somebody.
The one that I liked, I saw this blow up on Twitter one day right after the show aired. People were saying that it was Fing Fang Fu as a human. I was like,
oh my god,
who thought of this?
Oh, but Killian already was Fin Fang Foom. He was making fire, and he had the tattoo of the dragon on his back. I think that's the MCU Fin Fang Foom.
Interesting.
And less racist.
I think Stan Lee is Fing Fang Foom.
I think Stan Lee is the Mandarin.
You think he's the
Stan Lee is a clone of the idiot general from Captain America.
We've
all the other Stan Lees are just clones of him.
If you haven't listened to the Level 7 podcast, you don't know this is a running thing that Daniel believes.
Oh, no, I don't believe it.
No, that's me.
Oh,
that's
it's Ben.
Me.
This whole time I've always thought it was Daniel. I'm sorry, Daniel.
I'm going to just say this right now, Rob. Everybody thinks I'm the crazy one. It's him.
Actually, Daniel,
I'm just quieter about it.
You are the crazy one.
I'm just the quiet crazy.
Okay.
You hang
I'm
out
the one
with
that they say
crazy.
he was so quiet and he never talked to anyone.
Oh.
See, being around real crazy people makes us lesser crazy people seem sane.
Sure, it's just like Rodney Dangerfield said in Back
Why
to
do
School.
Nikki,
wanna
why
look
does
thin,
it
hang out
feel
with
like you were
fat
looking
people?
at me when you were making that point out? Why does it feel like you were looking at me when you were talking about crazy people?
Because you yell at windows?
There you go.
Yeah, I
like
do.
real windows or computer windows?
No, what I actually do,
She was very quick with
Because
that
if it's
answer, too.
computer windows, I can't call you crazy. If it's regular windows, I'm
I
going to put you in
understand.
the house.
I understand what.
He yells out
No.
windows when we're doing the podcast.
I don't understand why people love it so much. Like people kept saying, do it more. I'm like, oh, okay. I think my neighbors are gonna think why I'm crazy, but no, because I actually go and open windows and yell outside when I'm doing like a point.
All
We
right.
did that after
He yells at
we did that
ABC.
after prom, and they just called us teenagers.
That was so long ago.
Hey,
So-
you speak for yourself.
All right. Fitz, dead, brain dead, alive, an inhuman. Is he the Mandarin? What's up with Fitz?
He's mentally and physically damaged, but I think his mental capacity will come back, but he might be physically different. Like he might have to be in a wheelchair, might have to have like crutches or something because you cannot lose that much oxygen and have no repercussions physically.
Maybe
I
he'll
This,
be.
this sounds like my
mom's a
review from my
nurse.
high school counselor.
My mom's a nurse. I actually asked her about this.
I'm thinking that's pretty valid. I'm thinking that he's this universe's Professor X.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
What do you mean by that?
He's going to be a guy in a wheelchair. That's all I mean by it.
With no superpowers. Oh, that's
And he's
But
trying to
that's
keep
nice.
all his hair? That's messed up.
Yeah. No, actually, I mean, there could be parallels. Like they
People
could
in
be using
wheelchairs
him
can't-
to create allusions to Professor X and to the X-Men because they do want to play in that sandbox without actually going in the sandbox.
I think he
never
comes
know.
back as like the $6 million man with one of those real nice plastic shirts like Deathlock has.
You mean the colored football jersey that he had or football pads that he has on?
Yeah.
Hey, come on. It's at least a little bit better than what they did with Cyborg on Smallville.
Well, yes, but
It's going to
Not
be
much.
Fitzborg. It's going to be Fitzborg.
it's poor.
Fishlock.
Jack, didn't you used to play in a band in Pittsburgh?
I'm gonna call him Fitzlock.
Fitzlock.
I just hope they don't do an I Am Charlie with him.
Yeah.
Where it's like all about just getting back his mental capacities or whatever. I'd like to see him dealing with some repercussions and just having to overcome whatever damage came out of that. But I don't want to see I don't want to see it get too cliched.
Right.
Yeah.
All of a sudden he's better. We come back from hiatus and look, Fitz is just fine. He went through all of this over the summer and nobody saw any of it.
Well, they
I
do that
wanna
on
s-
24. Why wouldn't that work here?
I want to see, like you said, I want to see the struggle. I want to see how the other team members respond to that. And
Can you
have
imagine
to
how
take that-
audacious it would be if they came back 3 months later and he was dead?
Oh God!
And he'd been dead for 3 months.
Don't say
For
that.
3 months.
Now, I want to see
Not-
Simmons feeding him with a spoon and a little bit of drool. That's what I want to see.
While she stares lovingly into Triplet's eyes.
Ouch! That's the way to go. I like you.
He's trapped inside
This is totally a
there having to
Seinfeld
watch it.
episode we're talking about here. Is how long can I let him be in a coma in the hospital before I can go out with Triplet?
Right.
Well, if
And
you
it
Because
is
the
go
only
to-
reason he's there is
sponge-worthy.
because he saved
Because,
you.
Yeah.
And we're the only one that can hear his thoughts.
Right.
He confessed his love, then he went into a coma to save your life. How long
Right.
do you have to wait for him?
Right.
I
Actually,
think it's 3 months,
what a
which is
guilt trip
hiatus.
to put on Simmons. I mean, how
and
could
that was
she-
the total mom kiss. He got a kiss on the forehead. That wasn't
he
a real
got
kiss.
kisses everywhere around his face but his lips.
Yeah, what does that tell you?
It tells me that she still sees him as a brother.
Yes, which is what
Exactly.
it should be.
Exactly.
This is
I thought it was a bad choice to make him.
terrible choice. I totally agree.
Well, yeah.
And
Didn't
I
he
thought
have
it
a
was
thing for
I
Sky?
thought his response was strict. We didn't see any of that kind of feeling from him until Triplet showed up. And I think it was more jealousy than it was actual affection actual love, romantic affection for
well,
him.
how could you not get jealous over a legacy?
Well, he and Coulson are practically engaged, so
Ouch.
So, you know what? We actually are running out of time here. Okay, I just want real quick. We're not going to focus on anything negative. Everyone, just go around. We'll start with Ben. Ben, favorite moment off the top of your head of season 1.
Favorite moment of season 1 is Winter Soldier tie-in.
Nice.
That was brilliant, amazing, and exciting, and I loved we got to see the same thing from the ground level. We saw it all happening on the helicarriers, and then we saw everything happening. What's happening with the troops on the ground, dealing with the fallout. It was some of the best television and movie. The best television movie crossover I'd ever seen. But that was awesome television to be able to use, and of course they spoiled the movie, you know, by actually showing the end of the movie on screens in the TV show.
Yeah, right.
But beyond that, I mean, it was brilliant. I loved every minute of it. Definitely the high point.
Awesome. Let's mix it up. Andy, favorite moment.
It was also the Winter Soldier tie-in, but if I can go aside from that, it was definitely, you know, seeing the introduction of Triplet. I'm like, he was such a big highlight of the second season that, I mean, it's the second half of the season, that it was, I don't know, it was just, he fits in with the team well so much, and I swear to God, if he's not promoted to series regular in season 2,
he's gotta be.
Like, see, I'm gonna be firing shots at Joss Whedon's house and be like, hey, stop making Shakespeare movies and get out and promote the series regular.
Wow. yeah, he's not.
He
crazy,
only made
Nicki.
one Shakespeare movie.
I'd like to congratulate everyone for being on a podcast that'll be used as evidence in a court of law in the future.
The libelous slander of
When I say
the
shots,
Roundtable.
when I said shots, I didn't mean by guns. Maybe like through water balloons at his house.
A water balloon gun. That's interesting.
I
Oh,
did
all
that.
right.
With that editing, we can make you say anything.
Still makes
I
How
did
about we
that.
push him out a How about we push him out a ground floor window?
Yeah.
Andy,
Jack.
I threw the water balloons at Whedon's house when he killed Coulson, so I can give you the address.
It's Kevin Feige's fault. Stop blaming a Whedon.
I'll always blame him.
Jack, favorite moment, season 1.
Oswald Patton. Our army came out. Patton Oswald comes back to life as an LMD.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing I don't understand. Like, that was his brother, Billy.
Right.
Who he played
Billy.
with.
He's back. He's going to be there forever. And he can get killed multiple times. Patton
Yeah.
Oswald's coming back
And
every
keep
time.
bringing him back. Yeah.
And I will say, second favorite moment, May shot to the head with what's his name? Ward. Kick to the head.
Yep.
Kick to the head.
This is like old times. You were never on top.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And
Right.
then seeing her
Nicki.
name. Hang on.
Okay.
Nicki, favorite moment.
My very favorite moment, because I came to this as a huge Coulson fan and a member of Coulson Lives. Coulson realizing that when Fury meant it was to be used in the case of the death of an Avenger, that he was referring to him.
Oh, yeah.
Coulson
That was
is-
huge.
Coulson being told and realizing just the look on his face when Fury said exactly. Just
Yeah.
the tears were flowing, and not just because I'm a girl. I was crying.
No, it
And
became
then-
Agent of
and
Feels
then-
for you right then.
Oh God, it was it was such a moment. You know, as part of that movement, I was just so proud because I'd always believed that he was an Avenger. And then after that, May kicking Ward's ass. and
You know-
Patton Oswalt in the lanyard.
Okay, now you're hogging.
And we also
Sorry.
have to. We need to also mention that the fact that he became the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I'd been raving on it for weeks before that happened. But some people were like, "No, it's not going to happen. It's too big for the show."
you
I'm
called
like,
it?
yeah, like seriously, I was bragging on Twitter that whole night. I had I'm shamelessly was
Right.
proud of myself.
That's excellent.
Now, did just a little side note, did anybody feel like towards the end May was getting a little big for her britches when, it seemed like she thought this was her show, that she had Coulson on the short leash for Fury, and this just kind of said, no, this was a backup just in case, but he's given the keys to the kingdom.
Yeah, I
Kind of,
I think you're right, because the absolute look of uh-oh when she found out Fury was dead was just
yeah,
now what?
yeah.
My
She's
entire
she's
reason for
definitely
being
working
here
for
is
Coulson now, not the other way around.
over. Right.
So, all right, I didn't forget about you, Daniel. Let's hear it. Favorite moment, season 1.
My favorite moment was Fury and Coulson together because we got happy, punny Coulson back after him being so sullen and downtrodden for such a long time. So it was nice to finally see him be back upbeat.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I am going to throw out there a low point because Jack threw in two things too. My low point was the death of Eric Caning because he's a howler. You don't kill a howler.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, how do you explain that one?
Well,
Ward is evil.
His throat was
Explained.
cut or strangled deeply,
Ward
and
was
he lost
carrying
blood and couldn't
Yes,
breathe.
thank you for the Wikipedia answer.
I'm
Ward-
just explaining. He
Ward-
said, "How do you explain it?" That's what I'm doing.
Ward had a garrote. Who carries a garrote wire? He had it.
Jack does.
I do all the
Besides
time.
Jack.
You never
this
know
is
when you
Jack.
get
Of course he
garage.
does.
Ward,
you can, like,
Ward
use
is
it.
Ward
They're
is
useful.
a jerk, and he's
I-
a douche nozzle.
Wow.
And then he got nailed to the floor. Ooh yeah. Putting on sunglasses.
Army special bandsmen always carry out weapons of mass destruction and mouthpieces and trumpets.
Right. So let's wrap this thing up. This was too much fun. I wish we did this every week. So that's it. Let's go around and everybody give your Twitter. Let's start with we started the show with Helicarrier. Let's start with Level 7. Guys, go ahead, give your Twitter, your Facebook, where people can find your show, give your details.
Okay, you can find us at welcometolevel7.com. You can find us on Twitter, where we are Level7Pod. You can find us on Facebook, where we are Facebook.com/welcometolevel7. And you mentioned Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D, Rob.
Yes.
Have you been peeking on my computer? Because
No.
if you go to retconcomic.com on Thursday, you will find a comic about Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Nice.
That's my webcomic that I do with an artist friend of mine, retconcomic.com. But yeah, I sat here and I thought, oh, that's interesting that he just said those words together.
Oh, I'm so checking that out.
It's a new thing where we're remixing comic covers and just changing out the adjectives and then rewriting the dialogue to go along with that. So the first one was instead of the Incredible Hulk, it was the Existential Hulk.
Oh.
Hulk smash, but why? What is the difference in the grand scheme of things?
What's the reason of Smash?
So anyway, yeah, but welcome to level7.com. You can find everything there, and you can find Daniel, contact stuff there. And yeah, and thank you so much, Rob, for hosting this roundtable, and we'll probably do another one eventually, right?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I think somebody's going to have to host another one, maybe as we're going into the next season, or I don't know, maybe do a premiere party or something.
Unless
Yeah.
Fox buys us all out.
I'm not for
Ooh, that'd be
sale.
awesome.
I
I'm
don't
not
get
for
that
sale
reference.
unless it's cash. Then I am for sale.
I'm only for sale if it's John Barrowman. I'm like serious business, yo.
Wow.
Sale for Star Wars.
For George Lucas. Yeah, we all heard about the George Lucas. All
I'll
right,
take a Lego
Helicarrier, let's hear
Millennium
your info.
Falcon.
Sorry, did you say Helicarrier? I didn't hear what you said.
I said Helicarrier, let's hear
Okay,
your
so-
info.
Well, you can find us on our new website, helicarpodcast.com, and also, to you guys, the panelists here, thank you so much for all the support that we got that night when we were, releasing all the information about the new stuff and so on. So thank you. We also now on Facebook at facebook.com/helicarpodcast, and we changed our Twitter handler. To make it easy for people to know that it's a S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast that we do. So we are now S.H.I.E.L.D. Radio, but we still refer us to as Helicarrier, the S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast. We are also now on iTunes page and Stitcher. So you can find Helicarrier pretty much everywhere. And I think that's about it. Nicki, did I leave anything out?
That sounded good. Anything, Nicki?
That was pretty good. I mean, that was more than I could remember.
All right, and then for Jack and I, Jack, do you want me to take it? Do you want to take it? What do you want to do?
Oh, go ahead. You're probably going to have to explain all the existential references anyway.
All right. Well, we're the Nuff Said Podcast, and you can find us on Twitter at Nuff Said Podcast. We're creative with that name. You can find us on Facebook. Just type in Nuff Said Podcast. You can find us on Tumblr. That's Southgate Media Group. If you type that in, you'll find us on Tumblr, Instagram, iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Zune. Basically, wherever you get your podcasts, we're there. And if we're not there, let us know, and we'll get there. I think that pretty much covers it. I can't think of anything else. Why don't we
want-
end it there?
one last thing though.
Yeah.
Because there were so many listeners, apart from all our shows, tweeting to us, asking like, what, give us more roundtables, So I just wanted to thank those people, because
Yeah, big fan support on this. Thank you guys.
Yay.
Thank you. And thank you guys for having me. This is like kind of a
Well,
new
you-
world for me, and I've really enjoyed it. So thank you.
well, you're
Absolutely.
welcome.
Thanks for hosting the Rhombus.
The rhombus. All right, thanks again, everybody. That's it. I don't know if you guys have your own sign-offs you want to do, but for Jack and I, we have ours, which is Nuff said.
Enough said.
Enough
Sounds
said.
good. Enough said.
I'm good with that.
Enough said.